Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel. I am ScreenSceneGuru, and today I'll be discussing a new Netflix original series called Sirens. This is a very cool show. It is for the 18 and up. I'd recommend not watching it with kids, but it alludes on the mythic Greek tale of the siren call. Um, Going into a little bit of the casting, we've got Julianne Moore, which I really like her and everything she's done. We've got Megannfayhy, which is a real up and coming star, as well as milyalcock, our new Supergirl in the DC universe. We've also got male talent like Kevin Bacon in the series, so very interesting stuff here. I've got the cast pulled up on IMDb, as well as Glenn Howerton from Always Sunny in Philadelphia is in this show. So very interesting setup. We've got going into the episodes, starting off with one. I'd say the first one is kind of the most difficult to get into, but if you can get through that, the rest of the series is great. It's only 5 episodes, so it's a mini series from Netflix, but it gives the vibes of White Lotus. So very interesting. I haven't caught up on White Lotus yet, but I've heard good things. It's going into the first episode. Exile, furious that her sister Simone won't return her calls, Devin heads to an island enclave to find her and into the clutches of her controlling boss. It's very interesting. This came out back in May, so I'm catching up on Netflix series. It's trending. It's on the top 10 most watched on Netflix. Um, on to episode 2, we've got Talons. Um, Scrimmed by Michelle, Devon makes a bold move to remain on Simone's orbit. Simone and Monica's bond is tested as secrets begin to surface. It's very interesting stuff here. We get to see, the setup with this reserve. They're doing a fundraiser to try to save wildlife refuge, and a lot of rich people coming to this beach house, and the elites, showing off their wealth, but also the scandalous lives they live. So if you guys are like this spilled the tequila and this tipsy kind of show, this is awesome coverage. So I highly recommend you guys watching. Going on to episode 3, we've got Monster. Devin gains deeper insight into Michelle's unique martism. With Ethan out of reach, Simone finds herself at Pete's Trail instead. Um, so that's really cool. Or Peter's Trail. Um, then we've got Pearstone, episode 4, The Chaos Devin Left Behind in Buffalo catches up with her. Simone must decide her own future. Michelle investigates Peter's phone. So yeah, very interesting stuff here. I'll go into a bit of the story, but then the last episode, episode 5, guys, we've got Siren Song. Um, it's the gala kicks off. Conflict between Michelle and Simone comes to a head. Peter has a realization, and Devin conquers her options or considers her options. So very interesting stuff there. We've got the end of the show. I'll go into a bit of the story now that I've recapped the episodes. But going into the beginning, we see, Devin is having a rough go of it. Her mother died tragically in a car accident, with her sister involved. And they go into the trauma of that. Her, just having a rough go of it, trying to find a partner in life. You see her getting mixed up with a lot of random guys, which I think is, a play to that White Lotus, because I believe Devin came from White Lotus. The actress, was in that, so they make her do a lot of scandalous things for Netflix. But going into Simone's character, Millie Alcock, I love her performance in the show. I think she's great. Really, they want her name and face to be known. I do have season 1 of House of the Dragon that I need to catch up on because I only just started it. I haven't finished. And this has behind the scenes and all kinds of good special features. I'm not sure how well you guys can see that. But I've also got season 2, but I know Millie Alcock was only in season 1, unfortunately. She's right on the cover. But she's only in, like, I think the first 3 or 4 episodes of season 1. And then they age her up. But getting to see her character, getting used to Michelle, or yeah, so that was interesting on the island. All the stuff with her and her husband, you know, because they try to prove that the husband's cheating and he isn't after sitting Simone after him. They end up kissing accidentally, and then that leads to them getting together at the end of the show, which I thought was very interesting. You know, Kevin Bacon isn't happy in this relationship with her because she doesn't let him see his kids, his grandkids. So very interesting plot there. And other things are divulged, like we think that the new wife killed the former wife, and it turns out she just had a bad plastic surgery. Um, but very interesting. They allude to the Greek tale of the siren call and all that with the art and the different intros at the beginning of the show. I think they'll do a season 2, but I think they'll be a time gap, perhaps, maybe age some of the characters up. I'm not sure, because we do know that Millie Alcock is supposed to do Supergirl in 2026, so that's very interesting. We're looking forward to that. But I really liked all the performances in the show. You know, Millie Alcock, Kevin Bacon. Um, I thought it was a well done up show. I want to go back real quick and just see the creator, um, Molly Smith Melzer, and see if I've anything else of hers. Oh wow, Molly Smith Melzer. She was in a lot of stuff. That's cool. The other things, Maid, she's done. Sirens, Orange is the New Black. I've seen that. Shameless, I've seen that. So really good stuff. Wow, so that's really cool. And she's come out with a lot of great stuff, guys. I highly recommend checking out her work as not only a producer but also a writer. So I'm really excited about that. Orange is the New Black was a really awesome women's show. This had vibes of that very much, but in a different setting. You know, obviously they're not in prison. They've constructed this own palace of their own with money and, you know, different things, being sirens. But I thought this was a new cool adaptation to the lore. So very cool, fantastic work there. So going on from my Sirens review, um, I just want to do a quick update this week, what I've been getting into movie-wise. I've been reading a bit of books, so I'll start off with my book stuff. I have been reading the Timothy Zahn trilogy novelization. I am on book 2 now, Dark Force Rising. I'm on chapter 5, so really exciting stuff here, guys. We see Luke has finally made it to Coruscant. He's teamed up with Han, and they've met Leia in the Imperial Palace where Palpatine used to live on Coruscant. Now, Leia Organa has taken up residence there. She's getting ready to have her babies, and they've discussed there's a new species that was undocumented in the Coruscant charts for the Imperial Ledger that they've gone through with the New Republic being formed. And Leia has agreed to meet with these new aliens. I believe it's the bounty hunter that's been introduced in the Dave Filoni series that works with Thrawn. So very interesting stuff there. He's said basically in the book the true heir to the Empire is Leia and Luke because they are the children of Vader and they respect Vader because to them, their species on their planet, he was a savior. It's a very interesting lore and canon. So she's trying to convince this Nagori, I believe, the gray-skinned aliens, to join the New Republic instead of working for the Empire. Great storyline for this stuff. Guys, if you haven't started reading, highly recommend you check out this trilogy of books. I'm on book 2. Also, with Andor ending, a lot of people have been going on to Star Wars Battlefront 2 and signing on the campaign mode or on live and playing with friends. This is really cool stuff. It's gotten a lot of people getting ready for a Battlefront 3. They have announced they are going to do a Battlefront 3, given that the results of the resurgence of 2 right now is really doing well. All the different eras you can play through. Battle of Yavin, very exciting stuff. But going on into what I've been watching this week, I've opened up the 9-disc box set of the Superman Batman original films, and I've caught up on the first of the Superman films back in, let's say it was 79. That's really interesting to check out. Back, all the pictures in there. I can even show you the first disc. Very nice. It was 78, so yeah, Superman 1978. And then I'm in the midst of watching Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, 1980, but I'm only partially through it, so I still need to do a video on that. But going into some movie news, ladies and gentlemen, I just like to say thank you for supporting the channel. Make sure to like, comment down below what your thoughts are on Sirens. Have you watched it yet? Are you going to binge it on Netflix, given that it's only 5 episodes? I thought it was longer than that. But going into my movie news and TV, we've got Mikey Madison is set for Edgar Allan Poe, Mystique of the Red Death, with a large portion of the movie set in a period piece with opium-fueled orgies. So very interesting news to hear after her Honora Oscar win. We heard that she was offered a role at Star Wars, but unfortunately Mikey Madison said they wouldn't pay her enough, so she turned them down. Now we're hearing that Mia Goth is going to play alongside Ryan Gosling in Starfighter. So that's very interesting to hear. It sounds like she took her role. Not a bad thing, but very interesting development. So moving on from that, we've got Sydney Sweeney is set to focus more on a live-action Gundam movie than move on to her dating life or any kind of other project. It sounds like she really wants to focus on Gundam, which is very exciting news. A lot of us are waiting for Gundam to be live-action redone with their, I think, 60 plus years of canon lore. So it's very interesting. Going on to Mel Brooks announced Spaceballs 2. So very interesting stuff there, guys. 40 years in the making. They mentioned in the opening crawl that was released over the weekend that, you know, there's only a 3-film Star Wars when the first Spaceballs was made. Now there's been a trilogy, prequels, television shows, 7 Jurassic Parks, 8 Harry Potters, 10 Fast and Furious. You know, they just made jokes about all these IPs, which I loved, of course. And we did hear that Bill Pullman is going to return as Lando. So that's really cool. Rick Moranis is going to come back out of retirement after doing Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and other things. Let's see. So yeah, I mentioned it's going to be a 40-year time jump between the first film and the next one. Lone Star. I meant to say Bill Pullman would play Lone Star. But James Gunn addressed the state of DC and projects that will be coming forward, like Wonder Woman. So they are in the midst of writing and developing a Wonder Woman. No news on whether or not it will be what was the old Wonder Woman? Geez, I'm trying to remember. Gal Gadot? Yes, Gal Gadot. From Fast and the Furious, I believe she's going to show up in Fast 10 Part 2, if they're still doing that from Universal. Yeah, Gal Gadot is probably out for Wonder Woman, and they're talking about Ardra Ajona being the new Wonder Woman, Biggs from Andor, because she's dating Jason Momoa. It's a high probability that James Gunn is in talks with her, and she's a great actress as well. She would be stunning for the role. But I've heard a lot of other people say they want others to play Wonder Woman, so that's very interesting to hear. We heard him talk about Supergirl. He's very excited about that after Superman, of course. So we're probably going to get a post-credit scene. We've also heard Fantastic Four. I posted about that on TikTok. Had the biggest Fandango ticket sales of 2025 um, thus far. So that's really exciting news to hear that a lot of people are going online and buying Fantastic Four tickets pre-sale. I heard that they had a debacle over at Amazon where Fandango also ran this scheme where you could go on to Amazon.com, like your basic, where you buy everything, and they had early pre-sale tickets for Superman that weren't going to go online till 9 p.m. But there were people seeing them at 6, 6:30, 7, going online. They were buying them up, and by the time of the release date, 9 p.m., they were all gone pretty much. Campy, I mentioned this in a video last week, I believe. So very interesting stuff there. What's going on? We've heard people are moving from Warner Brothers Studio to DC Studios, hoping that Superman does well. And if it doesn't, they're hoping that the financial scheme and market of it, Zaslav is setting him up to sell off the studio, which is very interesting to hear. Because Warner Brothers has been a historic movie-making studio in Hollywood for years, decades. But it sounds like they're moving towards streaming content and not movie making, even though they've made a lot of money this year with their films, original films. Um, let's see. Legend of Zelda has been delayed by 6 weeks, so it doesn't have to go up against Godzilla X Kong Supernova, which I think is a smart choice. Give it some space, give it some room to breathe. I mentioned Spaceballs 2 trailer dropped, but it's coming from MGM Amazon, which I thought was very interesting to hear. Legacy title coming out from Prime. And I believe it might have a theatrical run, I'm hoping. Uh, Foundation Season 3 released its final trailer for Apple TV Plus, so very exciting news about Foundation fans of the book trilogy. Um, we've heard Thor 5 might be in development after Doomsday and Secret Wars, so that's very interesting to hear. Chris Hemsworth might get a farewell final film. Um, like I was mentioning, Andor season 2 being over, the actor from Boba Fett, um, uh, Tira Morrison, has asked where his season 2 is, because he's heard Ahsoka is getting season 2. He watched Andor supposedly from this article he tweeted about on Instagram. He's now asking Dave Filoni and the higher ups at Lucasfilm where is his season 2, which is interesting because we've heard from Ian McGregor he would like to come back to do another season of Obi-Wan, so maybe they might listen to them. That would be interesting. Uh, Moving on to the movie news, we know we've got Lilo and Stitch killing it in the box office right now. It's pretty much taking up all of the news, media trades, but we do have 28 Years Later coming out next week, and we've already heard from some scoopers that it's very good, very graphic, violent. It of course has the R rating on it. Um, but going on to some bit of future news. I might hold off on that for another video. But what do you guys think of all the industry trade news? I know there's some stuff coming out this month, July. We've got Superman on the 11th. I believe on the 24th, we've got, or the 16th, actually 16th is Jurassic World Rebirth. And then on the 24th is Fantastic Four First Steps. So what are you guys most anticipated for? What are you guys really excited about? I've got to do a couple more videos on a few more industry trade news things. But until next time, bye bye, and be sure to follow the channel for future updates. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and on Threads at ScreenSceneGuru. Till next time, guys, I want to say bye bye. Have a good one.